We are an entity that manages a large land grant that Utah received at statehood to generate money for primarily the public school system. Utah received 11% of the total land base of the state as a land grant for public education. Many of them were sold off in the first 20 or 30 years after statehood, and the proceeds from the sale of those lands were deposited into a permanent school trust fund so that it was a perpetual benefit to education, not just a year-by-year benefit. For the first 100 years after statehood, Utah had only socked away about $50 million in its permanent trust fund. And it was at that time that the school beneficiaries said, this is a resource that is too precious to squander, and it's been wasted for a century. Let's really put it to work. And so they prevailed upon the legislature to change the statute, to create our agency and give us a focus of generating revenue from these lands. And the result has been $50 million in the first century, $1 billion in the next 15 years. So it's made a substantive difference. It's made a real difference. We manage 3.5 million acres of land to produce oil and gas, to graze cows, to develop real estate, just anything we can think of to do on these lands to generate money for schools. The most lucrative thing that we do is oil and gas production, and primarily natural gas. We have a lot of lands that are productive for natural gas. We've gotten people that have come in and leased the lands, they've drilled them, they're producing the gas and selling them, and then we receive a royalty from the sale of that gas. It's a tens of millions of dollars a year income source for us. We have a very aggressive real estate program now where we partner with private sector development companies. We provide land, they provide capital for infrastructure and marketing. We develop subdivisions and commercial buildings, and then we sell them, just like any private real estate developer would do, and split the proceeds with our partner. Over the course of the last 10 years, we've generated about $250 million by doing that.
SITLA is one of the kind of partners that counties should welcome and be very happy to be a partner with. They welcome economic development. They are interested in seeing economic development on their property that will benefit not only the county residents, but ultimately the school children who are the ultimate owners of the property.
The original land grant that we received at statehood had our land scattered all over the state. So we have a lot of land parcels that are in sensitive areas that are very scenic or have cultural resources, archaeological resources on them that make development of them problematic and controversial. So our practice has been to try to convey those lands to the United States, who has a mandate that's more in tune with managing those kinds of lands. And in exchange for that, we try to acquire lands that have income generating potential. We are a self-funded agency, so it doesn't cost the taxpayers any money at all for us to operate. At no cost to the general public, we manage this land grant and we generate millions and millions of dollars for public schools, for public education.
The distribution to the schools is based on the size of the schools. So larger schools in a district receive more money than the smaller schools. On the whole, I would say an average elementary school gets $30,000 to $50,000 a year. A large high school would be over $100,000 a year.
Without the school land trust funds, many of the programs that I have for students would be eliminated. My after-school homework center, additional classes in my master schedule. I would have extremely large classroom sizes. I would not have my student advocates, my speed reading classes, really essential elements of instruction and learning in the school.
It's an incredibly valuable source of money because, for one thing, it focuses on local needs, and that really is the only money that the school has on site that's discretionary for them to use to benefit those particular children that they have responsibility to educate.
It's the extra money that buys the computer labs, that provides for the after-school remediation, that provides an extra aid in a classroom to help every child learn to read. The math tutors, wonderful science labs are all over this state because of the trust land money.
It's an effective process of how the trust lands are targeted towards the academic needs of the school. The school community council looks at data, and they will often have teachers come in and present. They will then determine what's the priority in the school for their funds. The funds go to target specific learning needs and academic needs, but it ultimately impacts the entire school.
I think this is going to be one of the tools for innovation in education in Utah. Many other states are coming to Utah to find out about our program to try to implement something similar in their state. It's because of the innovative things that are occurring in the classes.
We have a very defined set of beneficiaries that we have to manage this land for, and they're the only ones that can receive the benefit. Our vision is to become an increasingly significant part of the funding of education in Utah, and we think we're on the road to do that.